Today's top stories at NBR: changes in the government's procurement rules, how many Kiwi companies will be attending the upcoming Dubai World Expo, and what are digital twins? And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Monday, July 26th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks so much for joining us. Soaring performance fees for the year to March have helped drive a 70% net profit gain for fund manager Milford Funds. Financial statements filed to the company's office show the firm booked performance fees for the year of $68.2 million, up from $21.2 million a year earlier. Asset management fees also gained, rising 27% to $93.4 million. Total revenue was $162.7 million, generating a net profit of $11.7 million, up from $6.9 million the previous year. The reporting period covers much of the market's recovery after the deep plunge driven by COVID-19, which reached its NZX nadir on March 23rd last year. Milford Funds is the manager of 21 retail and wholesale funds, including the Milford Active Growth Fund and the Milford AON KiwiSaver Active Growth Fund. The government has changed its procurement rules in an effort to provide greater support to New Zealand businesses, but there are mixed views about whether it's working. A range of businesses have complained to NBR about government procurement, with a number saying they simply do not know how it works. National Party Economic Development spokesperson Todd McClay said he was getting increasingly frustrated feedback from businesses about how hard it was to work through the government procurement system. Todd McClay joined the NBR's political editor Brent Edwards.
I think there is a lot of uncertainty out there. And I know the government's done a review or a couple of reviews. It seems that actually, for many, it's made it worse, not better. And I think that the government needs to really start focusing on this, because when good Kiwi businesses are saying they're finding it hard to meet the demands that the government set around procurement, it's worrying.
National Party Economic Development spokesperson Todd McClay speaking to Brent Edwards there. Godfrey Hurst is seeking to pull the rug out under marketing claims by Cavalier Bremworth over synthetic carpets, and will file a claim in the High Court in Auckland this week claiming that Cavalier is in breach of the Fair Trading Act. Godfrey Hurst NZ General Manager Tanya Pauling told NBR the legal action had been in the works quite a while over claims made by Cavalier Bremworth, which in mid-2020 decided to pursue a strategy of selling 100% wool carpets, eschewing synthetic carpets, which then made up the bulk of its portfolio. The marketing conducted by Cavalier since then has sought to position wool carpet as a more environmentally sound option than synthetics. One of its main claims is that nylon carpet on the floor of the average Kiwi home equates to around 22,000 plastic bags in weight sitting in your home. Pauling said that Cavalier had not done any research on that claim, which Godfrey Hurst says is factually incorrect and misleading. There remains a lot of uncertainty over how many Kiwi companies will be attending the upcoming Dubai World Expo, which will kick off on October 1st for 6 months. It will be New Zealand's first participation in a multi-nation business-led expo of this nature since Shanghai in 2010, and is spurred by the growing importance of trade with the Middle East to this country. Joining NBR co-editor was NZTE Chief Executive Peter Crisp.
How many companies are going?
We don't know yet. The eventing is moving around a lot. As said, it comes down to the virtual and the hybrid, comes down to MIQ arrangements, it comes down to what's happening with the vaccination in country. There's a whole lot of different moving variables at the moment.
NZTE Chief Executive Peter Crisp with Fiona Rotherham there. The property industry has grown nearly $20 billion in a decade to now contribute to 15% of GDP, according to Property Council research, labelling it New Zealand's largest industry. Property Council New Zealand's Property Industry Impact Report 2021, commissioned in partnership with Urban Economics, found property has a direct contribution to GDP of $41.2 billion, beating out manufacturing at 11%, health at 7%, and agriculture at 6%. Property Council Chief Executive Leonie Freeman said in 2019 the wider economic impact of the property industry was $115.6 billion, including a direct impact of $41.2 billion, plus cumulative supplier and employee activity. Companies are turning to digital twins to monitor and predict changes to operations. So what is a digital twin? A digital twin is essentially a data visualization tool on a grand scale and at the same time a sandbox environment where companies can play with what-if scenarios. Digital twins are complex models of the physical assets of a company, a factory or even a city. They are a virtual simulation that can collect various data sets and overlay them onto the digital version of buildings and infrastructure. Read Hayden Green's full report on digital twins at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, an in-depth feature on the boom in offers to so-called sophisticated investors, and in Margin Call, Nicholas Bagnall looks at how investors rate company growth. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again from around lunchtime tomorrow for the morning's NBR Trending Stories. Then same time, same place, right here from 5:30 again tomorrow for another NBR Today.